All right. Welcome back, man. Now we're going to be talking about in the third edition of the 4 Minute Forecast. Now, New York Jets wide receiver Garrett Wilson. He's going to join Elijah Moore as probably one of the more exciting wide receiver duos in the NFL. First thing we look at with Wilson and what really sticks out to me when watching his tape this spring is the high level of conceptual understanding for what the defensive back is doing and how to transition out of breaks and how to get to his spot on time. And that's going to be a quarterback's best friend, especially when Zach Wilson, who's going to be throwing the football in New York, is a young quarterback in need of a timing-based receiver who can play inside and out. That's the one thing he's going to bring to the New York Jets right away is the ability to produce from both the inside and outside. He's the number one receiver in my eyes. I think he's going to be the target share leader as soon as this year in his rookie season. The question will probably be consistency with Zach Wilson throwing the football. Can he take that second year leap as a quarterback? But those are questions that we don't know the answer to. But when we get to Wilson's tape, he's at the bottom of the screen here. What I love about these reps, when you watch Wilson, does this a lot. He attacks outside leverage. He's using, he's coming downhill using inside technique. Then watch that left foot led plant. This plant is pretty big, right? From an angular perspective, this is a pretty big plant, pretty wide. This is going to get the defensive back thinking it's a continuation up the sideline at the boundary. He breaks that back down, settles into his route, and we have a completion. This is going to be huge for Wilson. Both Wilsons. Early on in Garrett Wilson's career as a receiver, it's his ability to produce in the intermediate areas of the field. This is where he shines. He has a great level, like I said, a conceptual understanding, great feel of when to do what, and this really helps him when he's transitioning in and out of his breaks. We watch this once again in high speed. Really hard to cover him. This is why big, wide, angular plant flashes big opportunity, is able to decelerate that, get back into his break, settle down and catch football. This is Garrett Wilson to a T. I think he's the best pure route runner in this class. We say in quotation marks route runner. What does that mean? To me, it's his high level of understanding of what the defensive back wants to do and how he can get to his spot in the most efficient way possible. That's what he does well, and that's what he's really natural at doing. So when you watch his game, in my eyes, he's actually not a burner. I know he ran pretty fast the NFL Combine, sub 4.4, but he's not a burner in my eyes. He's not a guy that's going to blow by you. He's not, that Will Fuller-esque wide receiver who's a huge vertical threat. I see Wilson as more of an intermediate kind of marksman, sort of like Deontay Johnson in that mold. I think he's meshed with also the decelerative capabilities of Calvin Ridley. That's kind of the two players he reminds me the most of. And when I did my write-up on him on Angelo Analysis, that's who I compared him to. But really kind of that intermediate level marksman who can kind of get to his spot whenever he wants and seems to be always open. There's always a plan for what he wants to attack and how he wants to get there. And his quarterback getting the football pretty consistently. Hopefully that can be Zach Wilson this year in year 2 with the New York Jets. Upside-wise in fantasy, I think he's probably going to be a wide receiver 3 in the meantime until we see that consistency with Zach Wilson at the helm. I do believe he has potential back-end wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 upside in that offense if that offense can take the next step forward. But again, that remains to be seen. His situation is a little bit murkier because there hasn't been any consistency in New York at quarterback for a while. So if Zach Wilson is the answer, I think we definitely see Garrett Wilson take that next step forward and being essentially a perennial Pro Bowl caliber talent in the NFL. He has a skill set to do so, but it's really going to come down to, can Zach Wilson get him the football consistently and really help elevate his level of play as well. Upside-wise, as a fantasy asset, I think in dynasty drafts, you're taking him as probably the second receiver off the board behind Treylon Burks. I think it's really close at the top with Burks, Wilson, and London. You can kind of take a stab at either of those 3 guys, and you're getting pretty elite level production, I think, from those guys in the near term potentially. So that's kind of my take on on Garrett Wilson. Um, Next up, I think we'll be talking about Mr. Walker down in Seattle, Kenneth Walker. So that'll be a fun one to do. But in the meantime, stay safe, and I hope you guys enjoyed.